So there's been a ton of discussion on what the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to have when it comes to major third-party games and other titles as well. Because if you look at the launches of the original Nintendo Switch, there was a somewhat barren lineup of third-party games and major titles outside of what Nintendo was doing in the launch in addition to the months following up. Now, Nintendo did a great job of supplying big first-party games to keep the hype going. Games like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, in addition to ARMS and Splatoon, were absolutely instrumental in keeping the momentum that The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild started back in March of 2017 on the Nintendo Switch. But things seem to be shaking up a little bit differently when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2, as Nintendo is coming off the back of a massive 150 plus million selling system, and obviously there's a lot of third-party developers that want to get in on the action or the hype beforehand so they're not behind the 8 ball like we saw with the original Nintendo Switch. So we're going to talk about some of the new games that potentially could be coming over, in addition to reiterating on some of the stuff that's already been out there. We've also got a big update on a big Nintendo Switch first-party title that's being teased for the rumored next Nintendo Direct, and of course the game that everyone thinks is vaporware or not real, Hollow Knight Silksong. Apparently it is, so we have to go over the newest developments in that. But before we get into all of it, what's good everyone? OJ here, welcome back to another video. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get my videos as soon as they drop. Now let's go ahead and first jump into the rumors that's going on here. Shout out to my man Stealth, he rounded this up, and this is a little bit of a mix of old and new and other rumors from people like Nate the Hate and other people kind of all coming together. But this is according to a guy named Extas, I don't know how to say his name, EXTAS1S, that's what he goes by, and apparently these games are heading to the Nintendo Switch 2, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, which Nate the Hate did say is coming, Halo the Master Chief Collection, which also Nate the Hate said that was coming, Diablo 4, that's a game that I have not heard at this point coming to Nintendo Switch 2, but I could absolutely see that, as Diablo 3 and I think the other Diablo games have came to the Nintendo Switch originally. Call of Duty, we know that's a confirmed game because of the 10-year agreement that Microsoft signed with Nintendo. Fallout 4, that is a game that we covered that could potentially come over because there was a story from Imran Khan that Fallout 4 was supposed to come to the Nintendo Switch and it never did. And with the booming popularity of the Fallout series on Amazon, I absolutely see them wanting to get Fallout on as many systems as possible. So Fallout 4, another big game coming over apparently. Starfield, that's a game that I have not heard at all. Nate the Hate did not talk about that. I don't know if that's going to happen yet. We still need to wait and see for the PlayStation 5 version, but it does seem like it could happen at this point. Starfield, obviously a huge game, took a lot of money and time. I'm thinking that they would probably want that out to regain as much money as possible, as that game was a really big money maker for Microsoft, but mainly because of the, I would say, early packages to buy the game when it comes to Game Pass. I think they actually want to sell the game overall to people as well for 60 bucks or 70 bucks or whatever they're going to be charging for it. So yeah, I can see Starfield, if they can get it going on there, I can see Starfield absolutely coming over to Nintendo Switch 2. Tekken 8 is a game that we've covered as well. Bandai Namco is a developer that is absolutely going to support the Nintendo Switch 2, so I can see Tekken 8 coming over. There's history with previous Tekken games when it comes to Tekken on the 3DS and Tekken on the Wii U coming out in an early time period after a new Nintendo system launches. So yeah, I can definitely see Tekken 8 coming over, and Elden Ring, another game that has been rumored slash, I would say, hopium for people out there. And yeah, once again, that's Bandai Namco. We did get Dark Souls remastered on the Nintendo Switch 1. There were rumors about Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3. Those never came into fruition, but I can absolutely see Bandai Namco saying, okay, yeah, let's put Elden Ring on the Nintendo Switch 2, where you're probably going to pick up a lot more sales in Japan for the game, as Japan absolutely loves having that portable type of play and pretty much dominated by the Nintendo Switch 1. So it absolutely seems like all of these games are going to be coming over based off of previous rumors and different stuff that we've seen out there. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be the new norm when it comes to Nintendo Switch 2. Expect a lot of titles from places that we didn't get them on the Nintendo Switch 1 because of the better hardware, because they're kind of moving over with the technology, and because the Nintendo Switch 1 was so successful, it's going to give a lot of these developers the confidence to say, hey, we want to put stuff on the Nintendo Switch 2. We want to make sure that we have that because we can make a lot of money like CD Projekt Red did with The Witcher, and like Bethesda did with Doom and Wolfenstein and Skyrim, and a lot of the titles that came over. When they actually had confidence in the system early, they made a lot of money off of those titles. So I do think that this is going to happen. Nate the Hate, when it comes to the Microsoft stuff, he's been spot on his information overall, so I would not be surprised considering how Microsoft is operating now with Call of Duty and Diablo and Fallout and Starfield. A lot of this stuff is Microsoft games, and yeah, I do think that a lot of Microsoft titles are going to be coming over to Nintendo Switch 2. Back on their investor meeting, Nintendo put out a strengthening relationships with software publishers, and Microsoft was on there. From Software was on there, Bandai Namco was on there, Atlas 505 Games, Gung Ho, Konami, all of these different developers that we're hearing about stuff when it comes to games. They were all on there, and once again, I do think that the industry actually needs the Nintendo Switch 2 because of the position that Microsoft has put themselves in with the Xbox Series, and how really with Microsoft, it's Game Pass. A lot of the game sales are just not there because of Game Pass and how people buy or consume media on that platform. So you need another platform to come into where you can actually sell premium games and do well enough. PlayStation 5 is doing great there, a little bit to, I would say, a less degree with PlayStation 4, obviously now that PS5 is taken over, but you need another system where people will buy premium games and not have to worry about Game Pass or subscription service, and the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be able to provide that, supplementing what you have on Xbox Series, on PC as well, and of course the PlayStation 5. So I do think that this is going to be good and a nice boost overall for the industry to see a lot of these games coming over and having them actually built for a portable device instead of having it kind of ad hoc onto a PC portable if you want to play them portably at this point. So very interesting, very exciting to see the Nintendo Switch 2, and we're going to get more information on Nintendo Switch 2 April 2nd at that big Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. Now let's go ahead and move on to Nintendo Switch 1 and what could be happening with Nintendo and potentially a swan song. Apparently, PH Brazil is saying that the Nintendo Switch will receive one big final game from Nintendo from a beloved and somewhat niche franchise. Whoa, what's going on here? So video game leaker PH Brazil is back at it again with the rumors on a recent podcast and stating that the Nintendo Switch will get a wonderful send-off with one big final game from Nintendo. Now, he didn't fully elaborate on what the game or franchise is a part of. PH Brazil said it was somewhat niche, so that gives us, I guess, a little bit of an idea of what it could be. There's been new rumors of a Fire Emblem game developed for the Nintendo Switch, so that could be it. But he said somewhat niche. Fire Emblem, I guess, is somewhat niche, but it's also a multi-million selling franchise. Fire Emblem Three Houses sold more than 4 million units on the Nintendo Switch. Fire Emblem Engage sold more than 1 million units, so 5 million plus between the two. So I guess you could say that is somewhat niche compared to what we've seen with, like, let's say Mario or Zelda or Smash Brothers or Pokemon or something like that. So he does say that, quote, the final big game for Nintendo Switch 1, he refers to it as somewhat niche despite calling it a big announcement. He also describes it as a new version of a beloved series. It's not a remaster. Family Boards had that quote on there as well. So, I mean, what could it be? Could there be something from Star Fox? That could be something that is absolutely in play here. That is a beloved franchise, and it's somewhat niche now at this point. Could it be something from F-Zero? That is a beloved franchise, but it's somewhat niche. The Fire Emblem game that I've heard about overall, and also what Nate the Hate is talking about, that is a remake of Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War. So I think that he's probably kind of lumping in remakes and remasters together. So it probably isn't Fire Emblem if we're going off of what PH Brazil is saying, but I'm guessing it's going to be something of a legacy franchise for Nintendo. So something that started before the Nintendo Switch and the Wii U. So it's got to be something like F-Zero, Star Fox, you know, something like that, right? Some franchise that was in the NES, the Super NES, and the N64 era, maybe even GameCube, but we've seen a lot of the GameCube stuff already with Pikmin and all of that. So I'm really thinking that it's going to be Star Fox or it's going to be F-Zero, something like that. We already got Metroid and we got new Metroid games coming, of course. So yeah, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to say Star Fox or I'm going to say F-Zero, and maybe we get something else. I'm not really sure. Maybe it's something completely different like Star Tropics, right? Maybe it's something like that. You said somewhat niche though. Star Tropics is completely new. So what do you guys think this game could be? And obviously we have a rumored Nintendo Direct for February coming up, which seems to be very likely. Multiple insiders are pointing at a February Nintendo Switch 1 Direct. So I think we'll find out at that event, which I will have more of a deep dive of what we're going to see at that event once we get a little bit closer to February and the announcement comes and all of that. So let me know what you guys think the game could be in the comment section below. But now let's go ahead and move on to the game that never was, or that kind of is, and people have said that's vaporware and all this, and that is Hollow Knight Silksong. According to a new article on Eurogamer, one of the developers says that Hollow Knight Silksong is real, progressing, and will release, says Team Cherry. Oh, goodness gracious. But apparently one of the most recent things was not necessarily true when it comes down to people trying to say that it's going to come to Nintendo Switch 2 or there's some type of reveal with something because of a cake. But anyway, Team Cherry's Matthew Leth Griffin, in charge of PR and marketing, has stated that Hollow Knight Silksong is real, progressing, and will release. Multiple rumors have been circulating about the game, sparked by co-creator William Pellin switching his social media profile picture to cake, which led fans to speculating about the ARG to lead towards a release date. Sadly, this has now been debunked as a nothing burger. As Games Radar reported, YouTuber Fireborn posted, "Leth reached out to me to confirm there was no Silksong ARG and that the changes to Williams' account and the tweet were a nothing burger. Apologies to have misled everyone. The cake was a lie." Griffin himself then followed up to confirm the game is still in development. So what was the supposed ARG last week? Pellin changed his social media handle and switched his profile picture to a slice of chocolate cake. Eager Hollow Knight fans reverse image searched the picture to discover it was from a recipe page posted on April 2nd, 2024, a year ahead of the newly announced Switch 2 Nintendo Direct. Coupled with Pellin's post ahead of the last week's Switch 2's reveal, something big is coming, and fans were riled up with anticipation. It seems that all of this was for nothing, despite the game still being on the way. Silksong is a hugely anticipated follow-up to the popular Metroidvania Hollow Knight. It was first announced in 2019, and Eurogamer went hands-on with the Silksong demo, but after multiple delays, the game is still yet to be released. So I'm not sure if they're turning this game into a full-on 3D AAA game, multi-platform release with a 50 series graphics card. I'm not sure why it's been delayed so long and what's taking so long with it and why they haven't really given us any updates or anything on it. But yeah, I remember going hands-on when it comes to Nintendo at E3 in 2019. There was a hands-on demo, they were playing it, and it just seems absolutely improbable that it would take 6 years after that point overall, and things have been progressing. Like, what's going on? Like, how does it take so long? I've never seen anything quite like this. There's been delays and there's been some stuff, but to be completely silent on an independent game like this is just nuts. I've seen it with big AAA games, we've seen it with other titles, but usually we have updates, but this has just been the wildest thing so far for it. But hey, it is what it is. I think Silksong is still coming, so at some point we're gonna see Hollow Knight Silksong, and it'll probably be on the Nintendo Switch 2. Yeah, maybe that whole cake thing was nothing or whatever, but it'll probably be on Nintendo Switch 2. It'll be on Nintendo Switch 1. It'll be on PlayStation. It'll be on Xbox. It'll be on PC. People will finally be able to play this game at some point, but who knows exactly when it's coming. I don't know. Maybe they want to use the hype of the Nintendo Switch 2 in order to re-reveal the game, but I'm not sure what's going on, man. This has been one of the craziest things I've ever seen. So what do you guys think overall about all the different topics here? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch RPG videos and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.